Hey folks, hope everyone is doing well. Today I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite things, sword Niku. So this is the convex curvature to a cutting plane of a sword. You can see that none of these guys are flat, they're all ground curved in some way. This guy in the middle is a perfect example. You look, it's that classic apple seed shape, and I love this. It makes the sword feel much sharper than it actually is. It's almost like having like autocorrect for edge alignment too, because if you're off just a little bit it'll still cut. Another thing that I really like about it is that it reduces the overall drag because there's less surface area of the sword contacting the target. Really amazing to cut with a sword that has nice Niku. So that Huawei came flat and I had reprofiled it, and I'm actually really happy with it. This next sword we're looking at here is my L6 hard target cutter. You can see that the Niku is much more centered towards the edge. There's a little bit less on the body, a little bit higher near the shinogi. I use this for oak dowels. These are wrapped in newspaper and soaked. Really happy, no damage at all here. The sword was just chewing right through them. And if you look at the profile, it doesn't actually take much, just a little bit of extra curve, especially near the edge. No, never mind this monstrosity is an old Munetoshi. That deserves a video in its own right, and it needs a new Kasaki. But what I'd like to get to is this JKoo Sinoswords Jian. Left side here I reprofiled. I'm trying to get some more Niku. If you look on the right side here, this is the factory edge. A little bit of Niku further down. Unfortunately, it kind of flattens out further up, and the Niku is a little bit inconsistent, kind of full of hammer marks and grinder wedges. But I tried the sword on some dowels here. I was super impressed. It actually cut some. So that one was my fault. I twisted the blade like 3/4 of the way through the dowel. Here you can see like it's a little bit fractured near the bottom there. So that one was my bad. This is maybe a bit much. Like, this light sword is probably not made for this kind of target. You can hear how brittle it is. But I decided to give it a go, and that edge on the right there, that wasn't quite up to it. Definitely took some damage on each cut, a little bit of roughening. But if you look here on the left, that curvature, I think this would totally solve the problem. So I've got more dowels and I'm going to give them a go pretty soon. I'm pretty certain that this shape here on the left is going to do just fine. It's going to cut just fine. So this is my favorite part of the sword right here. It's got like a differential hardening, differential tempering line, like a Segua Haman, including Boshi, like all the way around. I asked JKoo about this, and they actually sent me a video. They said on their 9260 Jian, sometimes this just happens during quenching. And so here's the sword, or a sword, in a forge, getting ready to go into an oil quench. I believe what he's doing right here, I like that, that Jian hook thing. I believe what he's doing right here is taking some coals and bringing them further out to the front, and bringing some more heat, so he can level out the heat inside the entire thing. And then the sword goes in there, and I'm pretty impressed to see like just how far it goes in there. It's really in there. And I don't think it takes long here. It comes up to heat pretty fast. Pretty amazing glove the guy's got too. So now it's ready to go into the oil quench. Interesting difference about quenching in oil is that it takes a little longer for the sword to cool down. T10 in water will cool pretty quickly, but you can see just how much heat is being retained. So I think this is how it gets that differential tempering line, is that the edge goes cool faster, but the spine kind of stays hotter longer. So that is super cool to see. Thank you to JKoo for sending that clip. And here's one of my favorite clips. I liked seeing this. Basically what happens is after the sword comes out of quenching, it's going to be a little bit warped. Like the heat transfer, rapid transfer is going to cause it to warp a little bit. So he's taking out any bends here. And this is like the little attention to detail stuff that I think is really cool as far as in sword making. I really like seeing this. This is awesome. And then here, on a much more subdued bed of coals, you can see the tempering. I believe that it's going to be a spring temper after it comes out here. And I'm not sure how he gauges it, but I guess they do a lot of swords. They probably know what they're doing. With the one exception near the tang, the temper on mine is actually pretty good. So anyway, thank you for the clips, JKoo, and thank you guys for watching.